So after you install your software on your computer, you ran a bOS configurator. First, of course, you have to install bOS server, then you install bOS configurator, and you connect to bOS server by clicking on the local profile. After the first login, you need to register the controller. So you click register button here, and a web page will open where you enter your server name, and click register. As you can see, our controller was successfully registered, so now we can click refresh button, and we see that we get the free license with 1 user. And also our access ID is training. I will explain you how to use that access ID. So we log out. And if we want to add a profile here, or if we are accessing the bOS server from the remote computer, then we can click add, enter our access ID, which is training, and our username and password, and click OK. And after that, we see that we get the profile imported, and we can click on it, and it will automatically search for IP address of that server and connect to it. So first, I will say a few things about the configurator. Here at the top, we have a tool strip. It's the same as the tool strip with the right-click context menu. Here you have some basic stuff like backup and open your configuration. Then you have functions to export or import some of the nodes. You can, for example, export only one node or a group of nodes and import it later in your future projects. Then we have node values, which is used for setting the templates, images, and so on. Then we have add, delete buttons, move up and move down buttons, and also the help menu and undo and redo of your changes. Then here, as you see, every node has different tabs with settings and values, usages. If you are using if you're using that node in I don't know, tasks, themes, there is a reference showing where are you using that node. Then we have notes where you can save some notes if you have to write down something. Then you have advanced information about that object. But in general, that was a quick overview of the configurator. Then, as you see, our building configuration is made in a configuration tree. We have 5 nodes that are common to every configuration. The first one is general. Here you have some general settings as I said, about the users. Then you have a note for messaging, where you can enable your email account, so emails will be sent through your account. Or if you have a SMS gateway, GSM gateway, you can use it here. Then we also have translations. If you want that clients also have a different language on your buttons, uh, you have to manually put the translations in. That's useful for hotels where you need multiple languages. Then here are templates, files like images and sounds for your visualization. Then here you set your time zone. And here also what's new in this version is that you can set your holidays, your vacations, and your working days, and this can be later used in your schedules. Then sun node is used for calculating the current sun position based on your building location. So you need to enter the right building location, and then bOS automatically calculates the sunrise and sunset, and also all the day modes: dawn, day, dusk, and night. Here under web, you can add web services like RSS feeds and weather feeds. Here under location code, you can just type in the city you want to add and just confirm, and then the location code will be added automatically. So that was about the general node. Here under building, you have basic information about the license, and of course about the updates. So if there is a new update available, it will be shown here. The exclamation mark will be also shown on the building. And under more, you can get BOS config setup or BOS client setup. Under network, you have network settings like server IP, subnet gateway, and so on. In this webinar, I will show you how to import a KNX device, because it's our most important driver, and we don't have time for every drivers. Our main focus will be KNX. So to add a KNX device, you click Add button and select KNX. Click Add. Then you can set your IP address, or if you don't know the IP address, you can just discover it with this wizard. It searches the IP interfaces on your network, and you can select it. Then you need to import a file from ETS. It is an OPC file. I prepared some demo file here, and when you open it, you can see all your group addresses. Some of them, I mean most of them, are set automatically, so the device type is set automatically, but for some of them you need to assign them manually. So for example, time, you need to select that's time value, and I don't know, for dimming, so here we have absolute dimming. You can multiple select them, and usually the dimming value is 1 byte unsigned. So you select 1 byte unsigned, and the status is also 1 byte unsigned. I'm talking here about the status. You see that we also have a status address column here where you can quickly add your statuses. So because you need status addresses that later in your visualization the status is refreshed even if someone presses the button on the KNX. So if you want to add the state, if you want to link the status to this control value, then you just enter the status address here, 300. I usually prepare my status addresses like this, that you can just copy and paste the first two values, and the last value is the same as the control value. So sorry, it's 240. Yes. Again, also for the weather station, you need to set the brightness, usually 2-byte float, and temperature and wind, and again temperature, set point, wave position, and set point status. And also for the shades, they're all on my unsigned, and again you can just write down the status addresses. As I said earlier, some of the device types like Boolean and this 3-bit controlled can be picked from ETS, but some of them cannot be because OPC file format doesn't support that, and you need to assign them manually. But it's not that much of work because you can multiple select them and just set the right device type. So as you see, I prepared my ETS project, and I just click next. It says that 86 devices were important, and I click next again. And then the third thing I need to do is to set device templates, because later if I want to use them in scenes, schedules, and also if I want to set the set points, I need to set the templates. If I don't send the templates, I won't be able to use them later in the scenes and schedules and so on. So as I see here, it's current set point. So this is my set point. I set temperature set point. That's my template. And again, set point status is my temperature set point label. Label means that it is just a status. Again, the same thing I do for temperature readings. So that's my temperature label, and thermostat on off. Here I don't have a default template for thermostat, so I can choose just here enabled, and if I want, I can change the image. So okay, I want to change the image to this one, and now all the images are changed. Also for the wave position, I set template, wave label, and also for my dimming lights, and this is dimmer, and again I can change the image just for these two, so let's make it in more light. And as you see, also the units are right down, and also the maximum and minimum value. If you don't like this, you can always change the minimum and maximum value here, or you can change this in your general templates. So now I click close, and my KNX is successfully imported. Now I'm not limited to 3 level structure anymore, so I can just rearrange my my group addresses as I like. Just a second, there's one question. Okay, the best way is that I will answer these questions at the end. You can write them down now, and then at the end I will go through them and answer them. So if you forgot to add some, or to add some group addresses, or if you update your ETS project and you want to add this to your current project, add changes, you can again click import and choose the new ESF file, and now you will see here that only the new group addresses will be selected, and here will be the status that this is a new group address, and you will add only these values. So I click next, and now I have only the new group addresses imported. And again, there is a template form where I can set the templates. If I want to change the templates later, I can always click here, right click, and choose values, and the same form is opened, or click here, 3 dots, and again the same form is open. If I don't want to change the templates for all KNX nodes, I can just select one folder and set the template just for this folder. Then I will move to themes. In general, we have 2 different ways of building our visualization. One is called automatic layout, and the other one is called free layout. In automatic layout, we have those frames, like you, I guess, saw them in the demo. Here, the layout is set automatically, the layout of the buttons. So you just drag and drop your. Oh, again, I have to set the templates for my lights, a lamp. So in automatic layout, I can just drag and drop my lights in my frame, and the position of the buttons will be automatically adjusted to the frame, like this. And I can, of course, change the image here, or I can change the image in this template form. If I change the image here in this template form, it will not be synchronized with this, because maybe I don't want that this template form rewrites my images here. But if I now drag and drop the new group address in, the image will be set to this one. I have set it in my templates. So that is automatic layout. The buttons and the colors and the size is adjusted automatically. If you want to change everything, then you need to define to choose style to manual, and then you can change basically everything you would like. So back colors, text colors, everything that you were used in earlier versions. Then the second layout that I was talking about is a free layout. Here you can you must set the whole panel positioning to free, from automatic to free, and then you choose, for example, your layout background, your floor. You can choose your floor plan, and then again you just drag and drop your lights or whatever in your panel, and again the buttons are resized automatically to fit the free layout. And of course, if you want to change their size, you can resize them as you like and reposition them wherever you like. You can also, for example, you can also link those planes together. So if I want to have a link to automatic layout from my free layout, I just drag and drop my automatic layout in, and now I will open the client. So that's my free layout, and now if I click on automatic layout, it linked me to the automatic layout. So as you see in this new version, bOS 4, everything is synced automatically with the client, so there is no need for upload download anymore. Every change made in the bOS configurator is immediately seen in bOS client, and if you've done something wrong, you can always undo, and it's back in order. So that was a quick overview of our visualization and themes. Now I would like to show you our tasks. Of course, under devices, you have a lot of other devices that you can import. As I said, we support as many devices as possible, also Z-Wave, Sonos, and so on. One thing that I will show you later is a program tasks, but first I will show you the analog log. As you see here, we have a lot of predefined tasks, including logs for data logging. Then we have analog thresholds, bit converters, calculations, counter logs, logic gates. That's also new in bOS 4. Messages, movement detectors, operating times, present simulation, program tasks, RGB mixers, scenes, schedules, thermostats, and timers. And we also have all of the variables that you need. I will start with analog log. So that's basically a task for logging your data. What we want to achieve with these tasks is that it is really easy for system integrators to use them and to quickly to configure the building as quickly as possible. So in analog log, you just set the input value. For example, you want to measure your temperature from, for example, Yahoo Weather API. So you just set the input value to weather temperature. Here are some advanced settings. You can leave them default. And that's it. Now, this is my temperature log. And if I want to show it in my theme, I can just drag and drop it in. I will create a new frame. As you see, I changed the rows to 2, so now I only have place for 2 objects. And that's my analog log. I can change the color of my log here under collection. I can change to any color I like. I can show the current value. I can rename the legend text, and I can set the units to degrees Celsius. And now, unfortunately, there will be no showing of the data because there is no data in the log yet. But you can check in our demo how the temperature is logged, and then you can move through your data just by sliding through the logger, and you can also change the scale to days, months, and years, and you can see the average temperature of your log. Then the second task is that is quite useful is, for example, present simulation. Here you can add, for example, all of your lights, and you set the lamps on interval to 10 minutes, and you set your sleep time. So what present simulator is, it's a simulator that simulates if you are away from your building. It simulates turning on and off the lights like you are in the building. So the spectators get the feeling that somebody is in the building. And you can set the sleep timer. So at 23 in the evening, the present simulator will stop and all the lights will be shut down. You can also add your shades in the present simulator. So also the shades will be lowering and rising. Then schedule is also one of most used tasks. Here you set the commands. For example, I want to turn on or off some lights. So my outside lamps, I want to turn them on, I don't know, at 19. And I can set when, so weekly. and I can turn them on, off at 3, again, weekly. I can change the repeat option to only once and select the date, or monthly, every 1 day of the month, or on every several days. Then one quite powerful task is also a program task. Here you can create quite a complex logic by if sentences. Like this, you just create, okay, if my light in bedroom is turned on, and I set the trigger, so every time, I don't know, when my sun, if I don't have a weather station, I can use sun node, so every time where the sun equals day, or day, I want, if my light in bedroom is still turned on, I want to turn that light off. So again, I go to the bedroom and turn the light off. So that program will trigger when the sun mode will change to day, and if my light in the bedroom is turned on, I want to turn it off. Again, one useful feature is, for example, if you have a KNX thermostat, and you want to display the current playing title on the thermostat, so that's my third string. Okay. I create a program task that every time that my media player change the song, so when the title is changed, I want to display that title on my KNX thermostat. So I set the value, my thermostat string, and says title song is, and I hit %0, and %0 is my first value here in this property tab. Also, I can write down the volume, %1, and again add volume for my media player. So now every time that my title will change, it's sending non-KNX value to the KNX. One new task in this bOS 4 version is also gate. That's a simple logic gate where you define your inputs. So I don't know, your lights, and you define the type of the gates to OR, XOR, or AND, and you can define the output value. So, for example, now if the light in bathroom, or if the light in bedroom will turn on, then also the light in living room will turn on. Also the scenes are quite useful. You can prepare in your KNX just a button with empty group address. Here I have scenes, so that are my KNX physical buttons with empty group addresses, and I have several of them. And now I can link them to my scene in bOS. So I select as a trigger my scene button. So for example, all lights off. If this button changes, so if either if it sends true or if it sends false, I want to trigger my scene. So click OK, and now I add my lights that I want to turn them off. So I want to turn all the lights off. I add them, and as you already see, the value is already false. But if I want to turn them on, I can set the value to true, and now I can change. Okay, now that's all on button, and this scene is all on. And now when somebody will press the button on the KNX, this scene will be triggered, and bOS will turn on all the lights listed here. Of course, users can change those values from client application. I can show you. So if I add this scene here, usually we use menu, the bottom menu where you can put your scenes in, and now your client, when he will press a short click, this scene will be executed, or if he presses a long click, then the new form is opened where you set the scenes as you like. So okay, I would like this one to turn off, this one to turn off, this one to turn off, and these three to turn on, and I don't want anything to change on this light, and I don't want anything to change on this light. And I click OK, and now the completely different scene will be triggered if I press this button. So I can always disallow the settings. So if a system integrator doesn't want that client can change the scenes, I can here allow settings to change that allow settings property to false, and now the client won't be able to change the scenes. That's a quick overview of the most important tasks. So I guess I'm pretty much explained in general about KNX import and about creating a visualization, and I present some of the most used tasks. Now I would like, if some of you have any questions, that please write to the chat, and I will try to explain them one by one. Okay, I will answer first to this one. Can we connect to the KNX system via USB? Yes, you can. Here you can select your connection type. You have several ways to connect to USB. to KNX network, you can use IP gateways, USB gateways, or you can use also serial gateways, or you can use, we also support IP routers. So basically any of those will work. But most widely used is, of course, KNX gateway. And we have, in most cases, we use KNX IP.
How do you connect to Modbus?
We have two different connection types of Modbus. One is Modbus TCP. It's IP-based Modbus. So if you have a IP-enabled Modbus device, you can connect via IP address, or you can use Modbus RTU, and here you can use your serial port or your USB dongle with RS405.
Does Modbus acts like a slave device?
No, it acts like a master device, because it keeps asking all the slave devices. I will show you here. If you add one of your own Modbus addresses, you define your slave address of your slave device, and then you define your coil address, or if it's input, you define address, and Modbus driver will keep asking the slave device what's the value, and it will refresh the value here. So it's a master device actually.
Can the end user change the schedule from the client?
Yeah, the end user can change the schedule settings from the visualization. I don't know if you checked our demo, but there is also a schedule, at least one time in the demo, where you can see how it works. So it's the same as the scenes. One short press enables or disables the schedule, and long press opens the settings frame, where the schedule can be customized. So you can add as many schedules as you like. You just can't add other functions that are defined in your schedule. So system integrator needs to define which functions are triggered, but you can set the different events in your client. Is it possible to simulate KNX Telegram sending comments to actors? It's possible to simulate. Every node has a demo mode where you can enable it, and that means that now KNX driver will act like the device is connected, and you can write current value, and if you see here now, it is acting like that it's sending the right values, but it's just in demo mode. If I disable the demo mode, now I won't be able to change because it says the device is not connected.
How can I send value from Modbus to KNX?
Okay, if you want to send, for example, a Modbus, you have a Modbus temperature reading, so that's your temperature for Modbus, and you want to send it to your KNX thermostat. So think temperature. So for example, living room, you want to send this temperature to living room, you can create a program task just here in under devices, and say, okay, when this temperature changes, I want to send this value to my KNX thermostat. So I choose my target group address, and here I don't want to set a constant, but I want to send a value, and the value is this Modbus temperature. And now every time when this temperature will change, this program will write that temperature in my living room temperature.
Can I integrate IP intercom into bOS?
Intercoms are already available as devices in the bOS. Actually, I mean the camera, you can add an intercom camera here. You just need to enter your streaming source. If your camera or IP intercom supports ONWIF protocol, then you can here discover it via ONWIF wizard, and you just enter the credentials, and then everything is filled out automatically. Major thing that was done in bOS 4 is also the restreaming. So now basically IP cameras have no security, and basically you need to open the ports if you want to see the video remotely. But with bOS now you can keep your ports closed. You just open the port for bOS, and bOS gets the stream from the camera and then restream it on your client devices via HTTPC protocol, so it's encrypted and secured.
Can I add more KNX devices into configuration?
Yeah, you can add more KNX devices. So if you have, I don't know, 3 KNX IP gateways, you can add like this, just as many as you like. But again, it is again limited to your hardware, because if it's not powerful enough, if you have a really big project, then of course you also, and if you have a really big configuration, then of course you also need quite powerful processing, because there is a lot of data processed. And again, if you have a hotel with many KNX devices, then you can use areas. That's just a note for easier management of bigger projects. So here you have areas, for example, room 1 of your hotel, and then you have, I don't know, your own KNX IP gateway in your room, and your own tasks and your own themes, and then you can copy and paste the whole room, because there is a big chance that there are a lot of similarities between them, and that's how you can create a big project quite easy and fast, and also it's easier for managing.
How to execute a process on server startup with specific delay.
You can use program task, and for example, I want to, that is my process, and that is my run process on start. And now I can set trigger to my building node when started equals true. So when my server will start, I want to set a delay first. So for example, 30 seconds to define your interval here. And after 30 seconds, I want to run my process. So now every time when building will start, the program will wait for 30 seconds and then it will run the process.
How to repeat the process cyclically.
You can add restart. You can use a constant delay, so I don't know, 10 seconds. And now every 10 seconds, this will restart. So if I delete this one, when the building is started, the task process will run, and then it will wait 10 seconds, and then it will run again. And this will be happening till you shut down the server. That's basically an infinite loop, but you must be careful what, if you are doing such a loops, you must be careful what you want to achieve, because you can quickly overload the processor, or you can also overload the KNX bus if you are sending too much data to the KNX bus all the time.
Why can I also add tasks under device node?
We enabled the tasks everywhere because sometimes it's really useful if you have, I don't know, only one simple task, or just a simple, you can, we let the integrators to decide what is best for them, how they want to organize the whole structure, because usually in tasks you use tasks that are linked to the whole building, so more advanced tasks, and in under the devices you can only, for example, if you have a simple program to turn off this kitchen light after a few seconds, then why would you do the task here? It's just a point of view how it's more manageable, and we think that it's more manageable that you can put like simple programs and simple tasks like this directly under the devices. I will now show you one example for JSON. Again, you use your HTTP basic driver, and you just enter the URL, the username and password, and then you choose your encoding and your parser type. So you can use XML, JSON, or text, and then you create a command. For this command, you can set, okay, I want to get some temperature readings from my, I don't know, some API enabled, RESTful API enabled weather station, and my JSON format is, I don't know, like this, header dot temp, and this will parse out from JSON object weather station and sub-object temperature, and I will get this value written here. It is the same thing with the XML, just that with XML, the XML is first translated to JSON, and you get this response string here, and then from this string, this one is JSON, then you can again parse out the same value. So if there is any other questions, I would like to thank you for your attention, and we see you later on the next presentation.